So, take us away, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Temi from Temi Danso Art. I love to draw, I love to paint, I love to experiment with different mediums. So think about the unconventional mediums, that's what I love to do on my channel.
Hello, my name is Colin. I am from the internet. I build all sorts of crazy things, mad bicycles, underground tunnels, anything I can think of really, and try and do it in the best way I possibly can.
Woo!
And my name is Bobby Duke with Bobby Duke Arts, and besides burping, I sculpt. So mixed media, anything that interests me in the moment, and the subject matter is pretty much the same. And yeah, I try to spread the joy and the passion I have for art, and to hopefully inspire other people to give it a shot. So
I love that. Clapping in between, I like that.
I am Alec Steele. I am a blacksmith. The irony is fantastic. I make things from metal.
I love that. Yeah, another clap, yes! Okay, I love that. Now, we're going to keep this as flexible as possible. So if you have questions for each other, that's good too. We can chat. But I will put it out to you guys because you've been waiting. Does anyone want to kick it off with a question? Maybe for this guy over here. He's like, yeah.
Straight in
That's
there.
me. I got a question. I love it. Okay, let me just, sorry. Oh, that's good. It was a good, nice and wide.
So how did you all start your journeys, and what did you do to get there?
You start, Alec. You're on the end.
About 5:30 o'clock this morning, I got in the car. Google Maps was helpful. As an 11-year-old, I saw a blacksmith at a county fair demonstrating a little tiny fire, a little tiny anvil. He was working away, and I was just completely transfixed. I thought, this is what I need to try and do. And it then became an obsession all through my teenage years, onto leaving school and starting my own business, just an obsession that wouldn't leave me.
nice. And I've made art ever since I was a little kid. I was fascinated by three-dimensional art specifically because you can hold it and it's tangible and you can touch it and rotate it. And so I've always just sculpted. I've always worked with whatever I could get my hands on, whether that be a pot, and I would take it and just scrape it onto the curb to carve patterns into it. And as far as my journey, I don't know if you're specifically talking about YouTube or art, but that was just me documenting that process. And at the time I was a truck driver, so when I get home, I'd work on a piece and I'd just record it in case someone wanted to see what I was doing. But yeah, it's always been something that I've been passionate about since I was a kid. And it just carried on into adulthood, and I magically somehow turned it into a job.
So I suppose from a young age, like a lot of people here, used to like building things with Lego, Meccano as it was. I knew that I'd go into something practical as a job. I was a plumber, but I could have been an electrician, carpenter, didn't matter which one. I knew I'd go into the building trade. And then did plumbing. I invented a couple of plumbing tools and little bits and bobs while I was doing that. So I was kind of hovering around doing that. But then, of course, YouTube became a thing. Messing around in my spare time, making things. I'd already doing some filming stuff because I used to ride BMX, so I used to film that. YouTube came along, and the two came together, and then it kind of progressed from there. And then it's kind of gone from strength to strength. But like a lot of people may or may not know, is I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm all self-taught. If you go back right to the early YouTube videos, there is a lot less engineering than what there is now because I've kind of learned along the way. So it's just, that's basically what I've been doing. Is every project I try to do something a little bit more adventurous or try to do a different technique, and then it's just gone on to what it is. And my YouTube channel is actually 20 years old in November, which is pretty crazy, really. So
it's the oldest one.
What an old man.
Yeah, I've had several people come up to me and said, "Oh, we've been watching you since he was a young boy." And I'm like, "How old is he?" He's like, "Oh, he's 15." I was like, "You could have been playing my videos 5 years before you decided to have a child."
Wow. That's amazing.
That's crazy. For me, I loved art when I was at school, so I used to do it, and I did it up until A-levels. So I loved realistic drawings and paintings. That was my thing. But when it was time for A-levels, I also loved maths and physics. So I actually went into engineering, and I stopped art for a while. And I worked as an engineer for a few years before I decided, actually, I love art, and that's my first love, and I want to come back to that. So on my channel, I started with like drawing tutorials, and then it kind of evolved into more challenges and like really kind of bringing my engineering brain into the art that I do.
Thanks very much.
Very
Great.
nice.
Is there any other questions? Here we go. Now we've opened the floodgates. Coming to you. Get ready.
What's the favourite thing you've made or done?
Great question. Is it to anyone in particular, or to all of them? All of them. You start us off.
I'm bad with favorites. Everybody asks, what's the favorite thing I've ever made? And I'm not good at this. Done like...
What about the axe? Your axe, the recent axe thing you've done looks good.
Yeah, I liked it, but I don't know I'd call it a favorite.
The wooden sword we made together.
But now there's an extra pressure because you're asking me while we're sat next to each other. So, like, you know.
That's my favorite
That was
thing
good.
you've
Top
made.
5.
Okay.
Top 5?
I'll take that.
Okay. I have a lot of top 5s. There we go.
My favorite, it kind of depends on if it's like something I like to look at versus something that means something to me versus what I had the most fun making. But I would say, like, as far as overall just like what I like looking at, I made a Ghibli, like Studio Ghibli inspired diorama, but that also added like the lo-fi girl, like, you know, when you listen to lo-fi music, there's like the girl studying and there's like a cat in the window. Like I meshed the two because they look like they're from the same universe. I love that one just because it's like a whole miniaturized world in one piece. But as far as what means the most to me is a sculpture I did where like the top part of these transparent crystal wings that are spread out magnificently, but then on the bottom it's a figure that's like crumpled and he's got his hand over his face, and I physically literally burned it with a torch, so it's like charred wood at the base. I'm sorry, wood. And that one means the most like on a personal level, just because it's kind of almost how I see myself, the good and the beautiful with the bad and the burned and the whatever, and it overall makes one piece, which is, you know, I'm one person made of good and bad parts. So anyways, that's my answer.
So I think it's kind of weird because I look at some of the things like the bunker and the tunnel stuff. There's like the biggest thing. You can go in it and it's there all the time. You don't have to get it off a shelf and use it, sort of thing. But I think one of the things that's happened with the YouTube channel is when I first started it, it was just purely for a bit of fun, a bit of entertainment. But as I've gone on to learn, as you guys all watch it, it's inspired people to try and get user sales. So I think that the projects that you guys can copy are actually probably the ones that are the best, because it's like, oh yeah, we had a go at that. So if I think back to my favorite project overall is my magnetic shoes, because they were cheap to make. You can all literally have a go at making them. You just need 2 microwave transformers and some batteries, and then you can potentially walk upside down on the ceiling, which I will tell you is a lot harder than it looked. And it had everything about it. It was just cheap, made of nonsense, and the end result was something I'd never seen anybody do before. And it also took a little bit of practice to do it. So the absolute elation when I'd walked across and back again on my shed ceiling and not fell off, I was just like over the moon. So that to me is like a fantastic project. So that is definitely one of my favourites.
I thought you might have said the hoverboard, because that was pretty cool too.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
We'll talk about that later on. Okay, Temi?
For me, so I did this gouache painting series, and for me it was about learning to use gouache, which I'd never used before, and Lego reached out to do a brand deal together, and I was like, okay, what should we do together? And they wanted me to recreate one of my paintings with just Lego bricks. So I had the set of Lego classics and 0 instructions, just vibes, and it came out really well. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. But yeah, that was definitely my favorite project, because I'd never used Lego to create realistic art, but here we are, ended up doing it.
I've seen it. It looked good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I looked at it and thought, if I tried to do that, I don't think I'm not artistic at all. I cannot draw. The Spar car, the hot tub BMW, was actually a job for Google. And they said, "Oh, can you give us like an artist's impressions of what it will look like?" I kid you not, the drawing I handed to Google looked like a 5-year-old had done it in class. It was like a stick man in a car with like its arm out with like some sloshy water things. And I just remember, I've got it at home. I need to put it in a frame because I'm like, that got me a job for Google. It was just awful.
I bet they love that, yeah. Okay, right. Any more questions? Let's come over this side. He'll come back. Hang on, we've got this guy. All right. Oh, there's something going on down here. Can someone help me out? Pass the mic across. What are they doing? They're making something. Can you reach? Put your hand out.
Wow, in the audience.
What is like the biggest time-wise and physical size project that all of you have done?
Firstly, that's a fantastic hat. Thank you very much. One of the projects I think I spent the most time on is a Viking sword that I made in 2018. I think that was something like 18 parts. So that was quite significant of a time undertaking to make that. But even just like the individual item I've spent the most time working on is potentially my Massey 200 weight steam hammer, which is currently undergoing its second restoration. There we go, we got Will in the back who's helped me restore it. Woo, thank you, Will. That one has had months and months and months of work into it, and it is still in pieces.
I know the answer to that. It's also has an interesting story after I finished it, but I made a larger-than-life hands and arms up to here grasping a bucket, and then in this, like you froze time right as you reach the end if you're splashing like a water or something out, but the water is over 1,000 colored pencils laminated and glued together, not in a random pattern, but an actual thought-out rainbow swirls and designs, and then carved to look like the water splashing out. And it's probably 7-8 feet long from end to end. And that definitely is my largest and took the longest. But if you've seen the video, you know how that video ended. Well, I ended up, and it's a good metaphor because I physically put it on a pedestal in the video to get this shot that I had imagined, and it fell off and smashed. And that was the end of that video, was the piece smashing and me just being like, oh! Because, I just had this in my mind, I wanted to whatever, but, don't put things on pedestals physically and metaphorically.
Word.
Mine's probably the tunnel system with the garage. I kind of, in my head, they're two separate projects. So the tunnel from the workshop to the house and the front of the garden was 3-4 years in the making, but there was COVID in the middle of that, so it did sat dormant for 12 months because the neighbours wouldn't go on holiday, so I couldn't go jackhammering down there. So that was probably about 3 years. And then obviously the garage, which is still ongoing, that will be 3 years in October. But I haven't worked on them solidly for the whole time because I do a bit, do something else, have a bit of change of scenery, and then go back to them again. But easily the biggest and most time-consuming project ever. So, but it's good. We're getting there.
Mine's a little bit different because I don't do like massive projects, but one thing that I can say has taken the longest time for me was when I was trying to learn to use gouache. I wanted to do a 30-day painting series, so I don't know if any of you guys know about Inktober. That happens every October, where you just paint every day or draw every day for 30 days, and I attempted to do that, but in fact, I'm going to ask you guys, how long do you think the 30-day series took me? Shout out. 30 days. Very optimistic. It took me 2 years. So yeah, that's my longest project.
Wow.
Any other questions, guys? Oh, yes. Right, down the middle.
Okay, I feel better now
Here we go.
about some of my projects.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive mistake you made?
Most expensive?
Most expensive mistake, right? Yeah.
Ooh, most
Who wants?
expensive mistake.
In life or about YouTube?
Let's do it. Both.
I broke my garage door. Oh, video related?
How much is a broken garage door?
I haven't replaced it yet. So I don't know, but I know it's going to be expensive.
The longer you leave it, yeah, it's going up.
I've kicked my camera over the tunnel edge and smashed it. So that's $3,000 maybe that smashed. It smashed the lens and the body and the screen on the top. So So that was bad because that was like I had to replace that.
Was that accidental? Just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, I say it was accidental. I remember putting it down, thinking, "Don't knock that over, Colin." And then like something happened, and I knocked it over, and I was like, "You should have just listened to yourself a little bit better." So I had to pay for that. So that I felt the pain of that. But when we was doing the hover bike, Ford funded that, and they actually paid for 4 engines, but 2 of them I destroyed. So because they'd sucked a load of stuff in and the barrels had worn inconsistently because they were running on their side. So I technically broke 2 paramotor engines, which they were about, I don't know, 2 or 3 grand each, I think. So that was an expensive day. They kind of still work. They just didn't work well enough.
Is that what you said back to him? They'll be all right. Just...
I was no, it was kind of weird because that whole project, I mean, we're going back now, 2016, so 10 years ago that project was. It was a stupid idea. That I looked on the website, this paramotor kicked out 80 kilos of thrust, so it said on the website. And I thought, I weigh 80 kilos. It'll lift me off the ground. So I thought, get 2 of them, little frame together, that'll be fine. And that's literally what I said to Ford. And then, of course, we started building it. First one, too heavy, never got off the ground at all. We just chopping bits off it, constantly trying to get the thing to go up. And then, of course, once it did leave the ground, it just wanted to kill me. So It was just like, right, how are we going to get a video out of this without dying or flipping over and chewing my face to bits? So I remember there was a point in time where they were like asking, how's it going? And it was like, if I can't get it to work within the next 2 days, I've got to start something else again from scratch and try and, to hit all their dates. But luckily enough, it flew. So it was all right.
Wow.
Anything come to mind, Alec or Temi? Expensive? I think you want something expensive and broken.
I'm lost. Fortunately, it's all been wiped from my memory, which is
all
great.
right,
You know, like I think sometimes you just got to be happy to not remember
How much
the
things
mistakes.
cost?
Yeah.
What about you, Temi? Can you remember anything?
They're making me feel so much better because I haven't broken cameras, I haven't done any of that. I like to think with art, there's no such thing as a mistake. It's just a happy accident. Shout out to Bob Ross. So
Hell
I
yeah.
didn't have a
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have an actual answer. And I just thought of when you talked about knocking over your camera. I thought it would be cool to get a great shot of the sparks with grinding metal.
Ooh.
And I didn't have and it was my nice lens on my camera. And I decided to literally the camera's here and I'm just blasting sparks directly into the lens, this looks so cinematic and cool. and it was literally just destroying the glass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that without an actual lens protector. Now I have a UV filter that I can replace. And yeah,
They are
that
essential.
was probably the most actually expensive thing because most of the stuff I work with is pretty cheap, except for my cameras.
Yeah, so a lot of camera breakages. Are there any other questions? Should we come over this side? Just so we can make it fair. Who's got the question? You?
Colin, what happened to your belt of knives?
My belt of knives sits in the bunker. It's at the back. It does get used, actually, every now and again. When people come round to film or do interviews and stuff, it's one of the easier things that I can grab and demonstrate if they're up for it. The strangest thing is very few of the things I make, anybody else doesn't get to try them. There's the odd vehicle. People have been on drift trikes, but the 360 swing, nobody else ever went over the top of it. And generally, they're either too fast and they're like, no, I don't want to smash it up. But the belt of knives, I don't know if anyone can remember Eurotrash that was on the telly with Antoine. Well, they got in contact, said, we want to come and do an interview. And French insurance is obviously different to British insurance because they were like, can Anton have a go on the belt of knives? And I was like, yeah, go for it. It's up to you. And he put it on. We was in the bunker. So I don't know why he was in the bunker. He was in the bunker. And he had his celery and cucumbers ready to put in it. And that was the first time I had ever stood outside of the belt of knives and seen it working. And I just remember looking at him and I was like, that is terrifying. I've never stood in front of the thing. And Charlotte, my partner, wherever she is, it's the one thing that freaks her out. And I just be like, oh, come on, it's all right, you know, I'm tucking my arms up, I'll be fine. But it is worse for everyone else, because if anything breaks or falls off it, it goes out.
Oh, God.
So, do you know what I mean?
You're safe. You're safe as long as you're wearing it, you're safe.
Yeah. So, so the belt of knives, it still exists, sat in the bunker. It's still got the 8 original carving knives on it. There's nothing been replaced. They're still very sharp, and it is kind of terrifying.
And has no one ever hurt themselves?
Well, I did. It marked me. I've got a little slice here, because I don't know if you saw all the way through the video. Rick put an inflatable woman into the belt of knives.
As you do.
I know. Don't worry.
Where did he get that from?
And it kind of flicked one of them up, and as it come round, it literally come past my hand and cut me. But yeah. So
that's always a cool story, though, isn't it? When people say, "Have you ever injured yourself?" You can go,
bones
yes.
heal and chicks dig scars, according to Matt Hoffman. So yeah.
Right, where should we go next? Let's go here.
What was the worst injury you've ever done to yourselves?
I haven't injured myself.
Worst injuries. Okay, nice and positive then, yeah? All right, worst injuries you've ever done to yourselves. I see what kind of audience we got. Colin, it always goes this way.
So, I mean, obviously, other than cuts and bruises, the worst one is I got burnt. I was making a jet engine with it was a no-weld jet engine, because I'd made a really nice one, and then everybody was like, oh, I was going to make one, but then it all started to get a bit complicated. And I was like, you can literally just strap one of these things together with like nuts and bolts, and you'll get it to work or some function. So I'd got this transit van turbo. There was a bog brush, the thing that you put the toilet brush in tube, that was the flame tube, and then a toilet roll holder was like the outside of it. It had a chain round it with a bolt to like pull it all together. And then I got it all sorted. It was on the bench in my shed, and this is all where it started to go wrong. The neighbours were having like a bit of a garden party in the back garden, and I'm like, they're not going to be too happy with me starting this jet engine up. So I thought I'll shut all the doors in the shed, and then it won't make as much noise. And I think I'd gone in, made myself a cup of tea, come out and not realise I hadn't tightened up the gas fitting up on the bottle. So I was like literally trying to get it to spool up, like had the air compressor in, jamming the spark plug thing to get it to fire out, and it was leaking gas all over the workbench. And of course, LPG sinks. All of a sudden, it just bang, the whole workbench went up in flames. Ooh. It blew the doors open of the shed. So, because I've got this in two angles, it's video on YouTube. It's age restricted if some of you haven't seen it, and it literally it blew the doors open, and it kind of engulfed my arms and a little bit of my face. And then I ran outside and I moved my arm up, and I could literally just move the top layer of skin round on my arm. And I looked down and I was like, that's going to hurt in a minute, that is. Ran upstairs, got in the shower, stood in the shower like completely naked as you're in the shower.
As you do.
And I was thinking, right, what am I going to do? Charlotte was out with her mates. My mum's like terrified of fire. I can't call any of them. So I was like Googling, what do you do if you really burn?
Hang on, terrified of fire doesn't mean terrified of burnt.
Yeah.
She could have still had
it. So anyway, Googled what I was supposed to do, and it said wrap cling film round it. And I was like, all right. Ran downstairs, still naked, covered in water. You try wrapping cling film round yourself when you're totally wet. I was just like a jobbering mess in the kitchen, like trying to get all this stuff on. So, but yeah, cling film actually really helped. And then I was like, what do I do? So I drove myself to the hospital. I kept putting my arm out the window of the van to cool it down, and then just ran in there. They gave me some painkillers, and then once they'd kicked in, it never really hurt again after that, because I just kept taking painkillers.
That sounds like a core memory.
And also, this was the first time I realised what it was like to be a drug addict, because I didn't realise cocodamol or codeine or whatever it is, highly addictive. So they gave me these painkillers, and I thought, right, 4 hours each, I'll spread it out for 4.5. Kept setting me alarm, so every 4.5, 5 hours I'd take these painkillers. And I thought, right, I've got these super duper ones from the hospital. We want to keep them. They're like the mother of all painkillers. I'll mix them in with a bit of ibuprofen. And then I got to it was like 5 hours apart or something. I thought, I'll just do ibuprofen now, or paracetamol, or whatever. And it was just like, all of a sudden I just felt awful. Like the world was just grey. Everything was horrible. And I said, Charlotte, I was like, I just feel rubbish. And she said, all right, it'd be that codeine sort of thing. And then the next one, I took a codeine one, literally within 3 minutes, I was like, way! back again. And I was like, my
That's
God,
how
that's
it
what
gets
it's
you.
like to be
Yeah.
like a drug addict. Never touched him again after that.
Yeah, that's a bad experience. Just so we know.
Yeah, so I thought, I get it now. I get it. So,
Oh, tell me, what about you? Have you ever injured yourself really badly? I think he wants.
Firstly, I don't know how you're still alive, but no, I haven't.
You've never like when you sharpening a pencil and like missed and skewered your
Got
arm.
an automatic sharpener.
Oh, that's not the finger.
Your finger hadn't accidentally
Yeah.
slipped in it.
No,
Okay.
sorry.
You're like super safe.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
how can you top being burned by a jet engine?
Yeah. Bobby, can you? I think he wants you to top it.
I can't top it, but I have a equally as ridiculous story. I have this like bit where I go to my shed and I do it in weird and try to make it funny or interesting. Sometimes it's a time lapse, or sometimes it's like stop motion. Other times it's just ridiculous. I make it as ridiculous as possible, just going to my shed. So this time I decided to, I have like a small motorcycle, and I decided to drive it all around my backyard as fast as it would go. And right when I got to the shed, I hit like a pothole in the yard and the bike flew over and hit the steps, but I kept going forward. And so my abdomen went right into the handlebars and I broke multiple ribs. And it's in the video. Like when you see me crash in the video, I literally broke like 2 or 3 ribs, and that was horrible because like every time you breathe or cough or laugh or anything like that, it's just, man, and they're so hard to like, you can't do anything. You can't put your cast or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. For ribs, they don't really do much. It's just over time.
Yeah.
Like, it has to heal.
So literally broke bones. And then the other one, which is just gross, is I was drilling. You know how when you're drilling on a really hard surface, that drill bit can skate around? Well, I was drilling, really try to get through the thing, and it slipped off and went right into my hand. So I have a scar, actually right there.
Ooh.
See that?
Aw.
Yeah. So those are 2 for 1.
I love it. What's your?
All right. Worst. So it kind of sounds like self-inflicted injury. All right. Own stupidity is this. Over the course of several years, I was starting to use comfier and comfier footwear in the metal workshop. So I went from leather boots to trainers to what was the comfiest, Crocs. But not just any Crocs.
What?
Well, you can
While
get
blacksmithing?
well, you can get Crocs that don't have holes in them. All right.
Okay. Yeah, but still they're foam.
It's still Crocs.
Yeah.
And they still have a very big opening around the top.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm forging away under the power hammer with an enormous billet of steel, and it's
my God.
scorching this billet of wrought iron Damascus. So technically it's half steel. And I'm forging away on it. These enormous flakes of scale are coming off, and like I am loving life because I have found the secret to workshop happiness is the lightest, most comfortable footwear ever. And I have never had a problem. I know I am faster than gravity. If I drop anything on my toes, I will be out of the way before anything happens. I know I am king of this environment until a fat glob of scale, like the size of 250p coins, falls down from the hot billet, goes inside the opening of my croc, lands on top of my sock, and melts my sock and the scale to the skin of my foot. It was an incredible dance, shaking the croc and then my sock off my foot, and then peeling off the burnt sock from my foot. And unfortunately, I now don't wear Crocs. I now wear work boots again. So it's going to come full circle.
But it's so uncomfortable. You should go. You should go back to Crocs.
I have had this conversation with myself. That is
my gosh.
the worst burn that I've ever had, which is hilarious. Like, but it really hurt.
Was there some squealing as well as?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I
Yes.
like in my head. That's what I want to. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, yeah, and also swearing. You know, very upset with myself.
Yeah.
You know, I think a little too much hubris. But hey, now I wear work boots most of the time.
Should point out that Alec, is the only person with plasters all over his
right
hand.
now.
I thought you were going to tell the story about that. Those
No, these are small. These are fine.
Those are just
But,
normal, everyday burns.
Yeah, the worst actual injury was when I was 15 years old. I'm in America, and we're learning how to forge tools in the backwoods of Mississippi, in Brandon, Mississippi. And there's some other of my mates at the other end of the workshop swinging a sledgehammer, forging tools using a hot cut tool. So they're swinging this sledgehammer on top of this effectively small axe to sever this bit of hot steel. I'm at the other end of the workshop working with another friend, just working away. And the guy swinging the sledgehammer makes a miss hit. He breaks the head off this axe-like tool, sends it 20 feet across the workshop in my direction, and here I am just working away, and all of a sudden my finger hurts because the blade of this tool flew across the workshop and smacked me on my left index finger and took like a really, really healthy gouge on this finger. And that's been the worst injury. And then the decision was what to do. Was it to A, go to the hospital, or B, put pine tar on it? Pine tar is what farriers put on horses' hooves because it supposedly has antibacterial properties.
Okay.
So, of course, I put pine tar on my open wound.
Ow.
Yeah.
You just lather it on there. And there we go. So
That was good. I would have started with that story. That
There
was. Oh my goodness. Let's go to the back a bit. Let's give some other people a chance.
Super glue is
let's have
really
a go.
good. You get a cut, super
Here we
glue
go.
it. Yeah.
You're on a desert island. You can take 3 other creative or makers. You can't choose each other. Who would you take?
There you
Wait,
go.
what?
Three other
What was
creators.
the question?
So choose 3 creators you would take with you, and you can't have any of your best friends next to you.
Oh, man.
Inheritance machining. Don't know if you've seen inheritance machining. I think he inherited all his machines. So,
Good name.
nah, he's really good. He's a great tool maker. He seems like a nice bloke as well. I've briefly met him.
Tornado Dave. You've done bits with him, haven't you?
Yeah, Tunnel
Yeah.
Dave.
Take him.
Yeah, me and Tunnel Dave, we get on well.
You'll be digging. You'll be digging in the.
That desert island would be a desert hole in no time. It all filled with water. It would be nothing.
And you got one more. You got one more, Colin.
One more. Look, Mum, no computer. Which,
Okay.
by the way, let's hope he all does well at Eurovision tonight. So, because he's definitely one of us. And he's
yeah.
also said, if he gets no points, what a great T-shirt. Look, Mum, no points.
Yeah.
So he can't lose, really. So in fact, if he gets 1 point, that's probably worse than getting no points.
He'll rip the T-shirt off, man.
Yeah, damn, I've ordered all these. I can't sell them now.
What about anyone else? Have you got 3 creators you would take, Temi?
I don't know. Who would I take? So I would take Ruth from Kids Invent Stuff. I feel like she will be very helpful.
Cool.
And
that's it.
that's it. Me
We're
as
all
well.
very solitary people.
Wait, where are we taking them?
On a desert island, so you probably want someone you can chat with, make some creations, or if they're a good cook. Think about you've got entertainment. Well,
I literally know the answer for one of those would be Rod from Rocket Kit YouTube channel, because I literally just did that.
Okay.
I went to Australia, stayed on an actual island, did a survival challenge.
how long?
It was like 3 days, so not too bad. But we had a 5.5 hour hike through the mountains of this island to get to the other side of it. Anyways, it's a long story. But for that reason, and then I would take, I don't know, Click Spring. I don't know the guy's actual name, but you know Click Spring? Chris.
Hi guys, Chris
Yeah,
from Clickspring here.
because he can make the tools to make the tools, then to make the Antikythera mechanism.
Now you're thinking, what
Yeah.
can they offer you?
Yeah, exactly. Also, he's just real soothing, great editor, good music choice. And then I'll say JP, because he's a woodworker and he can say giant acorn. Where are you, JP? He's somewhere. Maybe he's not out there, but
What
it's
about
an
you?
inside joke.
What about you, Alec?
I think I'm going with Primitive Technology, I believe is
Oh.
the channel name.
Yeah.
That is a...
And he's not gonna say anything.
Well, exactly.
He
But, like, it's
just-
not going to be a personality conflict,
Yeah.
which is going to be
So you
really
want some
good.
peace? Basically, you want some peace on this
Well,
desert
but
island.
also, what an asset, because he can actually, create the world from mud and clay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
basically, what you're hoping for is, from there, we can start to actually make some iron. Then we need some really good metal, metal workers, machinists, and what have you.
Yeah.
So then we go Curtis, cutting edge engineering, and then at some point we're going to need, somebody that's, maybe good with chemistry. Maybe we go Nile Red. Then
Yeah.
we've got somebody that can,
Chemistry.
like do some other sciencey things.
That sounds cool.
And then I'll hit things with hammers where they're needed, and we'll be sweet.
And what about another? Is there another 2, or do you just want him?
That was all 3.
That was 2.
Oh,
That was
no,
3.
you did
yeah.
that really quick. That was so
Yeah.
efficient. All right, let's have a look, guys. You want to choose as well?
Good question, though.
Someone pick one out where you want to go.
Right over there. Good luck getting to them.
Have I got to go that side? That side or
Make
this
it
side?
run.
In the corner, look. There's 2 kids next to each other. I'll let you let one of them down.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, here we go. I got a bit of space. You coming first, aren't we? Maybe we'll do both. What's your question?
What is your not favourite, what is a project that you really want to do but haven't had the time to yet?
Ooh, that's a good one. I want to do some really big pieces, but they're going to take a long time, so I just haven't started on them yet. Like I have this idea. One of them is to make like a series of sculptures that you can then put your phone, either using an app to position the phone to take a photo of it, or actually have a physical stand in front of it, and each one is a frame in a stop-motion short sequence loop. So that would take a long time. I would love to do that one. There's several others, but that's probably the most interesting.
I'd like to make a roller coaster around the garden.
Yeah,
but
I
feel
want to
like
do that too.
That, if I ever do this, once the tunnel system is finished, it would be drop off the front of the house, down where the car comes out, round the tunnel system and back out where the bunker is in the back garden. So, but I can't do that yet because I ain't finished the rest of it. And another thing I want to do, I'm not going to give what it is away, but who can remember the Simpsons episode where there was a big group of them, and there was like a Chinese whisper that went through a group of people, and you thought, it's going to come out and it'll all be different. And it was the exact same like sentence, but they added purple monkey dishwasher on the end of it. I have a brilliant idea to do with purple monkey dishwasher, but it will require a bit of logistical work.
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Yeah. Now I have no idea what that is.
No, not giving it away. It's a genius idea.
I would love to do a life-size Lego self-portrait of myself. Well, self-portrait of myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Brilliant.
Alec?
I don't know
Is
why
this
I
a
would want
3D
to...
one or a flat one?
Of course, 3D.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't underestimate me.
I'm just going with what you've done already.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a self-model then, not a self-portrait.
No, because it would still be art in that it's... Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
That's why I got confused with the 2D, 3D. Yeah.
Sorry, I did that to you just then.
It's all right. I'm sorry for being so needly. I mean, as I'm talking, I'm like, shut up, Colin, you sound awful.
No, I thought you meant 3D versus like a mosaic. So I don't mean like a 3D model. I mean, it's still like a flat back, but it's 3D in that it's built upon itself, if that makes sense, yeah. But not an entire model. That
like
would be
high
too much.
relief.
Yeah.
Or that's what you call it, like sculptural.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
I just realized I'm the only non-British person up here.
How does
You
that
just
make you feel?
realised that.
I literally didn't even think about it until just now. All right, sorry.
Yes, the project that I have had in the works for the last couple of years, after having figured out how to make titanium Damascus and then join it to steel Damascus, which is really challenging, the end goal of that, the crescendo of that process was going to be, I haven't yet done it yet, a titanium Damascus katana with a Damascus steel edge. So that's the project that always keeps getting pushed back, that hopefully eventually is going to get done. And I've just spoilt it. So there we go. Please don't steal my idea.
Surprise.
And your question?
Alec, what was the hardest part about fixing your steam hammer?
Knowing how. Actually, knowing what it's meant to be like in the first place. One of the really challenging things about fixing that steam hammer the first go around is I didn't have any idea how it's meant to run, how it's meant to feel. But over the last couple of years of using it, I can now get an idea of what it's meant to feel like. I don't know, I've now got an intuition about how it runs now and how I want it to run better that I just didn't know at the beginning. I didn't know how it was meant to feel, how it was meant to run, and I don't know, that belly knowledge was something I was lacking, but now I have a better idea of. And now as we restore the hammer, I kind of know the end goal that I want and how I want this thing to run, and I have faith. I believe that we will get there. Hopefully. Maybe.
Okay, do we have any questions on this side? So we can
drop off at the
There we
end there.
go.
What's your favourite tool?
Favourite tool?
But I've been asked a couple of times today what my favourite tool is, and I give the generic boring answer with hammer and spanner. Do you know what I mean? Because you use them all the time.
Hammers are good.
So it's, you know, or you.
Yeah, I like
use
hammers.
Hammers, very, very you.
And hang on, would that have been a generic answer if I said hammer?
No, you see, it feels more fitting for you because you always. Do you know what I mean? A lot of your things involve everything is involved around a hammer, whereas because I use quite a variety of things. Like, what is my favourite? And all I could think of was an optical punch. I do love the optical punch.
Or the little you put
The little thing where you look through the
Oh.
crosshair, get it lined up, and then you smack it. So if you want to drill in absolutely the right place, you use the optical punch. And also, you can use the little glass optical thing. If you've got a splinter in your hand, you can put it up against your skin, and then you can sort of work out which way it's gone in. So when you attack it with the tweezers, you know that you're coming from the right angle.
And that actually does lead on to a very essential tool for any metal workshop, is a good set of tweezers.
Yeah.
Sharp tweezers.
Yeah.
Good sharp tweezers.
And a good magnet, actually.
Do you find that actually helps?
I have actually pulled stuff out of my eye with a magnet before. I mean, it's probably not the right thing to do. But you know, like that, you get something in your eye and you're like, and then the relief of when you get it, I've got it. I've literally put a big magnet in my eye and literally felt it come out.
Whoa.
And I'm like, yes. But now, you see, I'm in your camp now. I have to actually wear glasses now because my eyes my reading is terrible. So I've always got glasses on now and stuff, so I haven't got anything in my eye for ages.
That's funny.
So due to my own blindness, I'm actually safer.
Imagine if you didn't get it out and then it started rusting.
Oh, you mean like last year when I had to go to the hospital?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Oh, that's gross. Tool.
I mean, I don't really use tools like color and
Pencils,
pencils.
a tool,
Yeah.
sharpener.
Color and
Yeah, but do you
pencils.
like HB or a
Paper.
H2?
Do you have like a specific type?
Specific time. Yeah, like Karen Dash Pencil sponsor me. But yeah,
It's all about the branding,
Yeah.
guys.
that's it. Yeah, color and pencils. They're my favorite.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard one because in the moment, it's whatever tool is the most useful that I need to accomplish the task. But I'd say as far as favorite, I don't know, because is it the one I use the most, or is it just favorite as in it's the most beautiful to look at? If that's the case, then I have a hand plane that I've never used because it's too beautiful, and it's up on my shelf. It's literally handmade, beautiful brass and burl and everything. And then as far as the most useful, the one that I bust out the most would be probably my rotary carver. You know, I got a foot pedal, flex shaft, and I do a lot of carving, but it's also great for widening a hole out or polishing something up or sanding or whatever. It's super versatile, so I'd go with that one for maybe my favorite.
I would go with my Massey steam hammer.
Yeah.
That's my favorite power hammer ever. I love it. It's great.
There we go. We've got a question here.
Colin, you feature a lot of indie music in your videos and stuff, and local bands and whatnot. How did that begin, and how do you select those bands?
So that kind of began with a lot of my original videos were actually had Rick's band's music, March to the Grave. He used to be in a band, so it just seemed the easiest way of doing things to use his music, punk music, fitted with what I did. And as I started making more content, I just used all their music up because they weren't producing as many new songs as I was videos. And I kind of thought, well, I want to still use like music like this, but of course you can't use, you know, everyday bands because you get the copyright flags. So that kind of is what drew me to use other people's. I was like, you know, do you know any other bands that I can use their music? And then it just put it out to the wider world. It is getting harder to do it now because every musician now who makes music will put it on like a streaming service. So if they're on like Spotify, Amazon Music and stuff like that, and I think that is tied into like YouTube stuff, you can untick it, because I know this now because of the Chris Bibby song, which I put on Spotify and Amazon. I know the process you go through now. You can untick YouTube, but if you're a band, why would you untick anything? You want to try and get as much ad revenue as possible. So now when I use bands, I will do a test upload of the video, hopefully as early as possible, to know what band's music gets flagged, and then I have to contact them. Can you get this whitelisted or whatever? But they can't do it as my whole channel as one. They have to do it as individual videos. So sometimes it gets really difficult, because if like 4 or 5 bands' music gets flagged and only 2 of them get back to me, then I have to replace 3 bands' music, and then those other 2 bands, every time I re-upload it, have to get rid of it again. So it's getting quite hard to use. But I like doing it because it makes my videos sound different to everybody else's. And there's always quite good comments with like, oh, I love the music in this one, or, you know, this one's really cool. So I'd like to keep doing it, but it is getting harder. So.
Do they ask for credit?
Sorry?
Do they ask for credit?
Oh yeah, I always put credit. They get all the links and stuff in the description, and all the bands I've used, a lot of them have been like, it has helped massively. Like the alternates, which were on the magnet board and the magnet bike video, they've like, you have grown your listener base by about 3,000% or something.
Wow.
So it's good. It's a good. Do you know what I mean? I get an interesting sound and they get a load more listeners.
Mutually beneficial.
That's the words I'm trying to looking for. Oh.
Okay, we've got time for 5 more questions, I've been told. So we've got this lady here.
Hiya. Love all of y'all. I found Temi, first of all, from the YouTube's Biggest Art collab that 1000 did, season 2.
Same.
Love your guys' work. Bobby was also on it. So my question to all of you, but Temi, I'd love to start with you. How do you find being a YouTuber in your specific art niche? And what is the community surrounding that like for y'all?
Cool. Being an art creator on YouTube is very interesting because I find that most people are in very specific buckets. So especially in the UK, like a lot of my creator friends do fashion and beauty and lifestyle. And I find that in-person events, for example, I just feel like the odd one out. But on the internet, on art YouTube, I think it's great. I think it's great that people are very supportive of each other. And because people do loads of different types of things, it's really nice collaborating as well. So that collab was honestly an incredible experience because it was so random, but loads of different types of artists. And if you haven't looked into it, please do. It was 1000's art, I don't even remember what it was called. Biggest collab or something? Biggest art collab?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But yeah, so if you don't watch art on YouTube, there's just so many different types of people and so many different types of art, but people come together in a very unique way. So it's very interesting, yeah.
Okay, so that was 5 minutes, not 5 questions. So here we go. Let's get some questions this side. Yes.
So it's for Colin. It's a bit of a request, actually.
Oh.
Can we get one more fireworks video?
Yeah, I think we should do another fireworks video. So the reason the fireworks video stopped was all the places I could do them, I'd ran out of lives, basically, because the airfield were like, all the local villages are moaning too much, or it made a bit too mess. And then the places that would let me do it, like Santapod said, you can come and do something up here, but they're like, have you got any insurance? And I'm like, no. So who's going to insure me to ride a bicycle with 1,000 rockets on it? So that's why they stopped, is because I ran out of places that I could do it, because it's a little bit ghetto, as you can imagine. But I'm hoping there's been enough time now since the last one that I can probably get back up the airfield and do it again. So I must have earned some lives back over the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, there will be some more.
We're just going to go try and use it. We've got to stop at 25 past. Go.
How do you find managing the time that you spend on the project versus the camera management and all that kind of stuff around it? Like, do you find you spend a lot more time just fiddling around with that?
Well, you've got a cameraman who I know very well, Jamie, because he come and did a day for me, and we had a lovely video. But you guys were like, I don't like the camera moving. So, because I always do mine on a tripod, and it did make the videos look a lot weird. But I mean, Jem's a great guy. Do you film yourself?
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes if the camera's moving, it's my wife. She's behind the camera. If I need a camera whamming, it's her. But pretty much either I'm holding it or it's on a tripod, usually a tripod. But yeah, it is distracting. If you're like in flow state, then you gotta all get up, move the camera up, reposition it to make the shot more dynamic, and so it's not just a static shot the whole time. You have some movement by moving a tripod. That does kind of just get a little disruptive, and I kind of wish I didn't have to do that, but it's part of it. So
yeah. Same, retweet.
Yeah. You get used to where to put it.
Like, you're like, I wouldn't know what that feels like.
No,
I just have my
sometimes
camera
happens.
oh yeah.
I reckon like filming stuff makes you a good 20, 30% slower or whatever you're
Oh, easily,
you know,
easily.
just setting up shots. It definitely takes some extra time. And then like the post-processing, anytime we've got a video that's finished, like that requires sometimes a whole, morning or day of like revisions and tweaks and final edits, even after like it's come back and like, okay, we're good. Sometimes we get it done in an hour, and sometimes, it can take a whole day if it's a complicated video, and that cuts into productive time, doing the like physical things. So you just got to, grunt and get through it.
Yeah. Because it's more than just moving a camera. You have to make sure the light's good. You don't have weird shadows blocking stuff. You also have all the settings in the camera and the focus and all the other junk.
And then you've got to pick the pieces of the camera back off from the bottom of your garage floor.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. And then you got to worry about getting your hand in the way.
Yeah.
And
that's
make
annoying.
sure that everything is visible.
Or you're like doing this around the camera.
Yeah. Oh,
trying to do something like.
I've had the camera here and been like,
Literally.
yeah.
And then the antenna from the mic is up your nose, and you're like,
See, I don't even bother with mics. It's just another level of thing. I
have a video. While I was on the island, so Rocket Kid, the guy who was with me, has a chest-mounted camera, and he's cooking, and he's trying to get the shot, and I look up, and he's literally doing this. Trying to get close, because he didn't want to, he couldn't kneel, because he got to get, I don't know why he was doing that, but it looked pretty hilarious from the back.
Yeah.
We got time for one more. Quick, down the middle. Let's have a look. Who looks good? Okay, we'll go here.
If you could revisit any project with the knowledge you now have now, what would it be?
Oh,
good
that's
question.
a good one.
I think for me, it would be that gouache project that took 2 years. I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it? Nah.
I wouldn't say on the internet, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge, because people attacked me for months, but we made it to the end.
I'd be quite happy to redo any project, because like one of the great things about being able to have a career on YouTube is I get to do all sorts of different things. I get to like stretch my skills into things that I don't have the skills. I get to try new things. But the problem with that is I never master any one particular skill. And one of the things that I love, but then also lament, is the fact that I will only ever be a jack of all trades, never a master of one. Right. And dedicating yourself to like mastering a particular skill or discipline, it's a really beautiful thing. And I would love an alternate universe where I could do more of that, but it doesn't mean that I love my current existence any less.
Yeah, but then there's you might end up hating the repetitiveness of it.
Yeah.
This is true.
What was the original question?
It was, what would you revisit?
Maybe some of the things I wouldn't redo. I'd maybe use different materials for some things that over time, like I literally had one of an ostrich egg where I filled it with resin and carved through to reveal the colored resin on the inside, and there's a light on the, whatever. But over time, the resin has swelled slightly and actually cracked bits of the ostrich egg. I would have used a different material there, or also some other resins have yellowed over time, so they're not nice and clear. So I wouldn't actually redo anything. Well, if I did, I would just use a different material so that it was more archival, it lasted longer.
So I think it's not just with what you know, it's the tools as well. I think if I was going to go back and redo any of them, I'd like to redo the Wolverine claws. Because when I did them, didn't have a 3D printer, no plasma CNC stuff or anything like that, which of course it's got its own charm about it. But that's also a project, if me and Alec ever do a collaboration, because it can have some proper blades on it then, rather than just strips of stainless that are roughly sharpened. It can have some proper forged steel.
There we go.
I love that. I
So,
can imagine
with a little Damascus one in the middle for giving the bird.
Brilliant.
Damascus bird!
Well, guys, you've been fantastic. We could spend all day chatting to you, but we're not going to, because we're going to have someone else on after. Guys, give it up for our lovely panel.
Thank you.
They've been amazing.
Well done.
Woo!
Well done.
Temi, Colin, Bobby, and Alec Steele. Thank you, guys.